It's East Ohio and Western PA's most in-depth weather forecast video. We call it Weather for Weather Geeks on this Wednesday evening. We've got 11 days to go in the month of April. We've had a lot of warm weather so far. We're going to have some cool weather to contend with later on this week, especially this weekend, and a lack of warmth in the longer range as we wrap up the month of April and head into the month of May. But today was definitely a transitional day, a cold and frosty start, but we made a nice recovery as expected this afternoon. We went from 29 to the mid-50s in just a handful of hours, on our way to the mid-60s in a lot of the area this afternoon. A fairly rare seasonable April day. We haven't had many of these days lately. It's either been really warm or quite a bit chillier than average, and we're going to be in that seesaw pattern again in the coming days. So today's a day that kind of stands out as just kind of a typical April the 19th. Our average highs are in the mid-60s. The hummingbirds continue to come northward. If you have put out your feeder at this point, you can probably expect to see some business at that feeder. If you haven't already, it should be pretty soon as the migration continues and the warm weather and springtime continues to advance northward. Anything but spring-like a year ago today, though. We had a little less than an inch worth of snow officially at the Youngstown Warren Airport on April 19th, 2022. We've had very little snow, of course, all season, and that continues into this month. And I doubt from here on out we're going to see any sort of measurable snow in the foreseeable future, and that probably takes us through the end of April. I don't see many opportunities for officially measurable snow, something more than a trace. But too early to completely close the book. Our latest measurable snow on record around here is in mid-May, May 16th to be specific, and we've had snow in early May as recently as 2020 and 2021. In the meantime, it's a pretty busy evening out across the Plain States with a couple of tornado watches and a severe thunderstorm watch from parts of the Corn Belt on down into parts of Oklahoma and northern Texas. I've been keeping an eye on some of the hail-producing storms in parts of Wisconsin and Illinois over the last several hours. This activity is outside of the severe thunderstorm watch, but we've had some hailstones of 1 inch to 2 inches in diameter traversing northern Illinois, parts of Wisconsin as well. None of this is coming our way. It's just been kind of interesting to watch. I did not mean to include the baseball forecast in this rundown. This was today's forecast, so we'll just kind of let this play out and then skip on past this forecast. Another great day for baseball and softball coming up on our Thursday. Maybe not so nice if you are an allergy sufferer. I'm lucky enough that tree pollen doesn't tend to bother me too much, but if it bothers you, if it gives you the sniffles and the cough, this pattern is not to your liking, certainly. Some rain will wash away some of the pollen out of the air temporarily by Friday night and the start of the weekend, but until then, the tree pollen is still sky high. The grass pollen is still pretty low. That typically does not peak until very late in the spring and early in the summer. The air quality on Thursday generally fine for most of us. It's only the most unusually sensitive people that may have some trouble on Thursday. We'll have a breeze. It's not like it's going to be 95 degrees with sky-high humidity and a rapid deterioration in air quality when we see sometimes with those conditions in the middle of summer. But, this is a warm and pretty dry air mass that'll be tracking in on Thursday. So, again, for only the most unusually sensitive folks. For most of us, just a beautiful day. Coming up for our Thursday, the sun will be out, a little bit breezier than today, certainly warmer than today. We'll get into the lower 80s. And then on Friday, it's still pretty nice outside for a good chunk of the day. We've reduced the rain chances on Friday because this initial front kind of washes out as it tries to come east on Friday. So even though clouds will increase Friday afternoon, probably not much more than a passing shower or two, better chances for rain, I think, overnight Friday night and into the day on Saturday. One change we've made to our weekend forecast, this whole system looks a little bit faster now on Saturday specifically. The past couple of days we've been emphasizing Saturday afternoon as the wettest part of the weekend. Now it looks more like Saturday morning is the wettest part of the weekend. Now that being said, Saturday afternoon we can still see a scattering of showers, but the most consistent rainfall probably falls, or occurs I should say, before noon on Saturday. And this will be a pretty healthy drink of water. Half an inch to an inch worth of rain seems pretty likely. I'm not expecting many issues with localized flooding out of this, but some of our area creeks might run a little bit high before the weekend is through. What a seesaw, though. I mentioned today is kind of a typical or seasonable April the 19th. Tomorrow, our average high of 81 usually occurs, or that does occur, I should say, in the second half of June, about 2 months from now. That's our average high, 81. 78 is our forecast high now for Friday. June 10th is when we hit that mark as far as the 30-year average. And then we go back to earlier this season with our temperatures for the weekend and beyond. 60 Saturday, we've taken that down. 50 on Sunday. It's going to be pretty raw on Sunday, despite some sun trying to work in. That high of 50 is more typical of March 24th, rather than whatever Sunday's date is, April the 23rd. So we're about a month behind schedule on that date. Still pretty chilly into Monday, and probably about 10 degrees below average into the day on Tuesday. Coming up later this week on Weather for Weather Geeks, probably tomorrow evening, we'll talk about our initial thoughts on the month of May. We'll take a look at the May forecast in terms of temperatures and precipitation. We'll have an update on that weekend forecast with the timing of our rain chances and much, much more. Thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. I'll see you back here on Thursday.